In this week's Wild World of Weather, we start in the tropics. The Pacific typhoon season, it's still cranking the storms out. Typhoon Koinu is the latest storm to bring impacts to the Pacific area. The storm first moved through the Philippines and then made landfall this past Wednesday in Taiwan. The typhoon got to a peak intensity equivalent to that of what we know as a Category 4 hurricane, with winds around 155 miles per hour. The landfall point on what is known as the southern tip of the island of Taiwan led to strong winds, heavy rains, and dangerous surf. The typhoon is now moving over the Taiwan Strait on a path towards China. Now, staying on that side of the globe, deadly floods continue to impact India this week. At least 14 people are dead and hundreds missing following flash flooding. The flooding occurred in the Teesta River Valley following the collapse of a dam. The dam was washed away, leading to water level rises 15 to 20 feet higher than normal. At least 3 bridges have collapsed and hundreds are displaced due to that flooding. Now, closer to home, severe storms blew through Texas on Wednesday evening. The storms led to 2 being injured at an FC Dallas game in the Frisco area. Strong winds blew across the stadium, throwing projectiles into the air. Firefighters responded to those 2 injured people in the stadium, but their injuries were not life-threatening. Police confirmed an 8-year-old had to be taken to the hospital due to that storm activity. In addition to the strong winds, heavy rain led to flooding around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Now, we had our own fair share of this earlier in the week. Smoke. This video is from Miami, which got covered in the hazy, smoky skies first. Wildfire smoke traveling down the eastern seaboard brought the smoke all the way down to the Gulf Coast. First it was New England, then Florida in the pictures there, and then New Orleans had our own fair share of that Canadian wildfire smoke, which those Canadian wildfires continue to burn into these fall months. Air quality experiences have been on the negative side when these smoke plumes move into the area. But this front tonight is about to blow all of that mess right on into the Gulf, and it's going to disperse it. So guys, we're done with the hazy skies and we're done with the smoke, at least for now. We'll see what happens as we get deeper into fall.
Crazy how it came down the Atlantic seaboard basically and then whipped back around toward us.
Most people are like, oh, it came from Canada, so it came from like the plains. Nope, this one came, it's what we call a backdoor front when it moves like that, but this wasn't a front, but it backdoored on us.
All right, good to know.